So there are some platform extensibility things that are in the product, like Martin said, like pre and post events for each method and things like that, and various metadata extensions and stuff. But there certainly are still a lot of cases where the product wasn't designed for extensibility, so those are insufficient. You're going to need some sort of hook point in the middle of one of these large methods. Maybe one of these large methods really shouldn't be a large method. It should be several different methods where the pre and post would just work for it. So we've been spending quite a bit of time with some partners. We've worked with some of our largest ISVs, mostly ones that are up on AppSource that have tons of different customizations, both significant in new add-ons, new elements that they've added to the product, but also a lot of places where they've both overlayered and extended to try to source a bunch of requirements, because we know there are a lot of places in the product that we have to build in some better capabilities, and so that's what we're working towards. So and just to kind of be concise on what the roadmap is. So we have this idea of a soft seal, which means that you get a compiler warning if you overlay a model, an element in a model. And then we have the idea of a hard seal, which is a compiler error. So that's at some point, which our roadmap says is the release that is in about 12 months time frame, we're going to have a hard seal of the app suite. So at that point, that's the point that is where the rubber meets the road. You would say that we're going to see more of these things really surface this fall with our next release, after the one that we're working towards cleaning up right now and releasing, is a soft seal on the app suite, which will start getting those warnings. Now, there is quite a long life of that fall release. I mean, our support policy says that release is supported for 3 years. So customer doesn't have to move forward to the hard seal spring release if he has some overlaying. But we want people to do that, right? I mean, that's the whole goal of this, is that customers move forward with us. The other thing that we've done with the release that's coming now, our quote unquote spring release, is we've soft sealed a lot of our middle tier models. The platform's been hard sealed since last fall. We've soft sealed we have a number of models that are lower level application models, like have our dimensions and some financial things, and our other application frameworks that we soft sealed now. So that will start coming up. The process of requesting extensibility hooks, Connect is the kind of the de facto way to go about doing that. We definitely do pay attention to those. Those get piped into our internal TFS instance, and they've certainly become part of our backlog. Right now, our backlog's large because we know we have a lot of gaps to fulfill, and we've hit a fair number of them for the spring release, but we have a lot to cover before the fall release in order to add extensibility points. So it may seem like the response is slow and we're not listening, but trust me, we are, and we are going to keep working down that list. Once we get that backlog under control, I think we haven't really come to a finalized approach for this, but we're going to have some sort of commitment, some sort of agreement with the ecosystem that says we're going to address a extension request in a certain amount of time frame. So it's not an open-ended type of thing. And I can see there's multiple answers to any extensibility request too, right? There might be some things we say, this isn't something that's going to be upgrade friendly. We have to find a different way to do this. But there's other cases that are just going to be, we're not going to have all of them nailed with the fall release or even the spring release. We're going to still see some things that we've missed that we're going to have to address, and we have to have a policy that enables us to turn that around in a way that the ecosystem can trust, I guess, is where we're going with that. The interesting thing with the platform is we haven't seen a lot of requests like this, but as Martin correctly points out, that's a much smaller scoped lock than what the app suite will be ultimately.